Let's talk about the 9 books that I read in the month of March. I started the month off finishing Vicious by L.J. Shen. This is the first novel in the Sinners of Saints series, and I pleasantly enjoyed this more than I thought, so I rated it 4 stars. There's also a novella in here. It's the prequel called Defy. If you're a fan of like forbidden taboo romances, age gap romances, I think you would enjoy that a little bit more than me. The prequel I rated 3 stars, however, I do enjoy the series. Next, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I just don't know if her books are for me. They're always a little mid. I don't know. The way you guys were hyping this up, I think I was expecting something a lot spicier than it was. I think I rated this 3 stars. This is where I think I went wrong. The next book I read was Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, and oh my gosh, they were not kidding when they said this book was dark. I do have a pretty high tolerance when it comes to thrillers, so I didn't think that the warnings were for me, but my gosh, very heavy, very dark, also kind of a slower pace, smaller font book. I really thought I could handle it, and if you've read this, no spoilers, but it was the photograph at the end, the description of that did it for me. 3 stars. The Crash by Frida McFadden. Most of this book, you kind of just feel stuck. Also thought the characters were making such insufferable decisions in this book. It was very frustrating. Like, everybody should have called the cops in this at least once. But I didn't guess the twist at the end, so that's always nice. This was also a 3 star. I jumped into the Gold Rush Ranch series this month as well. I love Elsie Silver so much. I've read the Chestnut Springs series and Wild Love, but I wanted to go back and finish this first series that she wrote before finishing the Rose Hill series. It's really cool to see how far your favorite writer can come, since this is one of the first series that she's written that is now being published. There's just something about her small town romances that she writes that are addictive and just so peaceful and the perfect form of escapism. There's also the prequel Off to the Gate included in this as well, so I read that novella, and that follows the grandparents in this book. So there's just something about reading spicy scenes of like grandparents that you already know in Off to the Races that made it difficult to get into, but it did remind me of Hopeless. So overall, Elsie Silver is fantastic. She can do no wrong. I love her so much. Speaking of doing no wrong, Jodi Picoult, one of my favorite authors, she co-wrote this book Between the Lines with her daughter Samantha Van Leer, rated this 5 stars. Unlike any other book I've ever read, it follows the fairy tale, the reader, and then the main character in the fairy tale. Similar setup to Toy Story, the characters in the fairy tale have their own life outside of the book, and they're actually trying to get out of the fairy tale. This one was just so good. There's also illustrations in here. This one is one of my favorites. If you're looking for like a quick read that's also YA and like uses full imagination, highly recommend. The memoir that I read this month was Counting the Cost. I don't rate memoirs, but this one was very enjoyable. You feel so angry on her behalf reading this. But those were all of the books and novellas that I read in the month of March. Definitely let me know if you've read any of these and what your month looked like, but I'm so excited for April. I have many fun reads on the docket, so definitely be on the lookout for my April TBR, and don't forget to follow for more book content. Bye!